Hi, everybody. You're listening to the Wife Wednesday podcast. It's Wednesday, and I'm one of your wives, Sina.
And I'm Nicole.
Wife Wednesday podcast is a podcast that we created as a hobby, and it has now become an exciting journey for self-discovery. ... But really, we're just two women who talk about anything and everything. So come hang out with us. Grab your fries, it's catch-up time.
So this week, I got my hair cut and I got bangs.
Bangs, baby.
Which, if you were one of the 4 people that were at our 5 at our live, you would have seen.
Way to flex.
And then I'm actually loving the bangs. By the way, sometimes they get on my nerve. I definitely put them back for a day, but I like to have that option now. So I had a girls' night with my mom, my grandma, my sister, and my Aunt Rachel. It was nice. We just did some little crafty things. And I obviously did not do the cutesy crafty things. I did the whatever my black heart desired. And then like yesterday was a lot, okay? I went and got donuts with my sister. We had donuts at her house with the boys. Then I came home, put Silas down for a nap, and we cleaned out my car because it was an atrocity. Titus, when I say we, I mean Titus and I. And I let him ride his bike for a little while. We went inside and basically waited for Titus and Josh to wake up so that we could go hang out with my coworker Brittany. We got together as a one big family, went to Jump and Shout, which was high anxiety for her. I was fine with just letting my children run and do whatever he wanted. And she was a little on edge because there was a lot of people there. And then we went to her house. We ordered 2 pizzas from the barn, and then got like chips and drinks or whatever. Took them back to her place, and we just hung and talked, and it was great.
I'm glad.
The kids had so much fun. That's all that I care about. I was super exhausted, could barely stay awake. Josh drove home because it was dark in West Salem, so I was not driving in the dark ever. But after next weekend, my introvert batteries are going to be dead. Like right now, they're close to it. Or my extrovert batteries are going to be almost dead. The introvertedness is going to need to have some alone time.
Does working from home help with that?
Yes, in a way. But also, I see how messy my house is and when I want to clean it. Also, because I'm like, oh, no children, but I'm working.
On the days that I have the hour lunches, I come home and I clean.
Yeah.
Because then I'm like, I don't have to worry about it when I get home.
Yes, exactly. And then there's been beautiful weather yesterday and today. Even with the wind and the impending rain, I'm in my element today. The sun is shining. There's a breeze, which makes me happy always because air sign.
I've thought about putting out my hammock.
Do it. Literally take a moment and like listen to the diabolical Mrs. Hyde.
I've been listening. I started listening to it last night.
Yeah,
like
I have not started.
I
had to finish this one TV series, Vampire Diaries, and now I can start reading the book or listening to the book.
Quick side note.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I listened to it so fast, because especially since I've already heard it.
Yeah.
In the book, the way the book is written, it shifts back and forth between
multiple people.
Just the main character, but because the Jekyll and Hyde thing.
Yes.
It's the Jekyll Hyde personality. Yeah. It's the same person. When the person's narrating it, she just changes the accent. So just pay attention to that.
Good to know.
Because I was only half paying attention, and I'm like, what the fuck am I listening to? And then I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I had to, because I was like
kind of like a Schmeagol Gollum kind of thing.
Yes, okay. yes. That's how she voice acts it.
Okay.
So I was like, I was taken aback at first. So
yeah.
I'll just
So Yeah, I had a lot of feelings this week, ranging from being ranging from like hatred to sobbing crying. So the new moon,
pregnant?
No, the new moon really was doing something to me this week. She was putting me through something.
It's time to set your manifestations of what you want.
Yeah.
That's what the new moon's for, baby.
Yeah. And, cleaning is happening today because it's nice out.
Did you look at my back porch?
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It didn't even take me very long. I was like, why have I avoided because it's been so cold?
Yes, literally the cold is what has stopped me from doing a lot of things.
Yeah, and now that like that back porch is done, I'm like, oh, the rest of the house. Yeah. I told Adric because I'm giving him that glass desk that I was using.
Yes, because
I don't want it. Yeah. I mean, we got it for free. And I told him, I'm like, you let me know what day this week,
yes,
you want it. I'm like, because I want it out. Same with Titus's table.
Oh, yeah.
If he wants it back, I'll give it to him.
Okay, I'll take it.
And then you can like give it as a present back to him.
Oh, my gosh.
Just put it on the front porch and wait for him to notice.
Yeah. My front porch is full of stuff right now because of the wind thing. Josh, loaded it down so that nothing will prod up toys that would fly away, all that jazz. So it's kind of stressing me out. Literally, there's so much stuff on my porch.
Let's throw some more stuff on it.
Like my garage port, literally full of trash cans and lawnmowers, and I'm like, this is too much, guys. Too much.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Thanks for turning away from the mic this time and not scaring me. So, this week, I was looking at some cars online and I went to go look at one Thursday.
Yeah.
Thursday night. And it was a cruddy kind of lot. Yeah. The car's great price. The one, low mileage. I'm driving it and I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty nice. And then I turn the wheel and it's like, crunch, clunk, clunk. And I'm like, nope. Yeah. And Andrew was like, nope. And we got in different cars and everything like that. And it wasn't a thing. And as we're leaving, I handed him back the last set of keys and he's like, oh, what do you think? And I'm like, I don't think so. I'm like, but thank you. I think we're going to go home. And he's walking out to us and he's like, hey, here, take my card. I get new inventory every Saturday, blah, 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 chasing us. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
He was nice and all, but what not my best car shopping experience.
Yes.
So I am hopefully getting a bicycle this weekend, possibly tonight.
Yeah.
And then that way I can start biking to and from work.
Yeah.
Finally, because even though it'll be chilly,
it's starting to get warm.
It'll be,
and the sun is out.
Yeah. And so
a little less scary.
Yeah. It won't be dark. It'll just be.
Did you realize that we're going to Michigan on the spring forward?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Are we really?
Yes. Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so hopefully I'm getting a bike.
Yes.
And then it'll help me with my fitness goals and everything and being outside more. So Paisley is finally out of the cone of shame.
She is.
Her allergies are bad as ever, always. I really think she's allergic to grass or something. Because she's been wanting to be outside. And we spent all this time outside together yesterday.
Yeah. At
my dad's house and then here. And she's just getting itchy again.
Yeah.
And dry. I'm like, you have so much dander, girl. The sun is literally changing my life along those lines.
Yes.
I can't stop thinking about the sun and being outside. And
literally, I just got a notification that my husband left the house. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm taking the boys for a walk. Titus is on the bike. I'm like, thank you. This is all I wanted. I was going to ask him to do it,
And he
but the
just
fact
did
that I
it.
didn't ask him and he's doing it makes me so much happier.
Yeah. I've also been having a side note of like anxiety and like overwhelming existential dread. Like, I'm gonna blame it on the whole, Russia invading the Ukraine thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of it because I'm like,
It's
oh my God,
very-
what's happening?
Yeah, agreed.
And then I've been thinking about
What's coming to us?
well,
Next.
not just that, but also at work, because I work at a bank and we deal with different kinds of accounts like trusts and things like that.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm like,
that, yeah.
who is going to take care of me?
Yeah.
Because I don't have children to force them to.
Yeah.
But then I remembered that I have long-term disability insurance, so
I think my
I'm still-
children will also take care of you.
I hope
just want you
so.
to know that.
oh my gosh. Which brings me to my last point. My phone call with Titus this morning
Yeah.
filled me with hope and love and a reminder that life continues onward.
Yes.
So I take my dad to my sister's house to drop him off so that way they can go to church together.
Her sister literally lives down the road from me.
Yes. And so while I'm out in your town,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about you, obviously.
Yes.
And knowing that you're coming to my house, and I know that Andrew he asked for McDonald's this morning.
Because he's been up for like 24 hours
Yeah.
playing a game.
Yeah, at the Destiny 2 raid.
Yeah.
Witch Queen raid just dropped. So
Yes.
they're trying to get that first day clear. So I was like, all right, I'm going to call Nicole and I'm going to see if you're hungry.
Yeah.
And so I call you. And I'm in the car, so it does that connect thing. And I
Yes.
didn't know, I'm like, well, which phone is it on? And it ended up being on my phone and not on the Bluetooth, even though it showed the Bluetooth.
Yes, it's annoying.
And so I'm like, hey, I was like, I heard nothing though. And I'm
Yeah.
like, Nicole? And your son goes, no, it's Titus. And I'm like, Titus? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, hi, Titus. I'm like, it's Aunt Cena.
Yeah.
And he's like, hi, Aunt Cena. And I'm like, what's your mommy doing? Or I didn't even ask him. Titus goes, mommy's in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah. And he's like, yeah, mommy's taking a shower. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, Titus, I'll call your mommy later, okay? And he's like, okay. And I'm like, hey, Titus. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I love you, buddy. And he's like, I love you, Aunt Cena. And I was like, oh, my heart. And then I was like, bye. And he's like, bye. And we just hung up. And I'm like, I was like, holy cow. I just had a full functional conversation with your son
Yeah.
on the phone. Like,
yeah.
wow. It just
Yes.
blew my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. He's a person.
He's a person. Going into kindergarten person.
I know. It's insane.
Dude.
So yeah, that's it for my catch up. I figured I'd end with the best.
The best.
It's fact of the week.
All right, so we have an 1822. This one's a fun one. I just thought was weird, so I wanted to say it. Charles M. Graham of New York was issued the first U.S. patent. The patent is X03472 for artificial teeth.
Huzzah!
And then in 1841, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the African slaves who seized control of the Amistad slave ship had been illegally forced into slavery and thus were free under American law. And then this week's banger is from 1985. It's REO Speedwagon. Can't fight this feeling, baby.
What a great one.
It is.
So this week's episode,
Yeah.
it's
Kind of fell through.
which understandable.
Life
I get it.
happens.
Life happens.
Alex.
Alex. So I decided, well, Nicole's like, we're just going to record something.
Yeah.
And so we're just going to make it this easy thing.
Yeah.